Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. This is our recap of the playoffs from day one. As you can see, we got a loaded cast. I want to say it was a lot of good basketball, but it was two blowouts, so I won't say that. But it definitely was an entertaining and exciting start to the playoffs. Um, and I want to have Wilder on. I had him on in anticipation of this game. I didn't know it was going to go like this, but obviously it's looking good for him. KD 6, obviously on back again. Max is driving back home, so he wouldn't be able to make it today. But we have a loaded cast of a panel today. So I just want to get to start off. Your takeaways from day one, overall theme of the start. Anything. It could be like presentation, the atmosphere, the commentary, because people do say like the playoff experience as fans is not the same anymore. So what was your overall takeaways from day one of the playoffs? Anybody can get it.
I think it was a mixed bag. We got some two very decent games, two blowouts, but at least it was entertaining all the way through. Good, cool start for game one.
For me, it was great. I mean, I'm sitting pretty right now, man. I'm just, I'm taking in every single moment, just smelling the flowers and enjoying life right now. Honestly, it's been I would say, a rather fantastic day.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy. I'm just happy, and I'm guessing you guys can guess why I'm happy, but we can get into that soon.
Yeah, we can start with that. The Wolves dominated the Lakers in game one. They shot the cover off the ball really hot. They responded well to the Lakers overhelping on Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards in this game. We'll start with you, Wilder, because before this series, I think you said you picked the Wolves in 6, I believe. You were pretty confident about it. You've been pretty confident about your team winning this series the whole time. You said they didn't have a matchup for Anthony Edwards, and you also threw Rudy Gobert in there. So what was your takeaways from game one? What do you think the Wolves did well that led to this W?
I thought it was an incredibly composed game for Minnesota. There's a week gap in between when the season ends and the first postseason game for teams that escape the play-in, and Minnesota was one of those teams that felt more prepared coming in. That was my first thought right away. I thought the ball movement was fantastic, and everybody's going to be like, you guys are just shooting the living crap out of the ball. That's just all it was. It really wasn't. Minnesota was moving the ball as well as they have in a long time. Anthony Edwards was getting off of it early. He was very decisive of when to score, when to get to the rim. He actually started the game getting to the rim at will, and it started opening up the offense, and people were making an extra swing pass, and people just started hitting threes, and it was a bloodbath after. I think the Lakers were kind of shell-shocked by how disciplined and how prepared Minnesota was, nailing the shots they were at the rate in which they were hitting them. And I said it before, like you said, I had Minnesota winning the series, and it's game one, and you have to beat Luka Doncic and LeBron James 4 times. So I'm not going to take a victory lap in the entire series, but for the reasons why I picked Minnesota to win the series, it transpired today because I kept it very simple. Minnesota is the bigger, stronger, faster, deeper team. I kept it that. People will say that LeBron and the Lakers, they have 3 of the 4 best players in the series, which I think is full of crap. Austin Reeves is not the 4th best player in the series because Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle's resume speak for themselves. But if you go after those guys, who are the next best players in the series? It's like, okay, I guess Jaden McDaniels maybe after that. And then it's like, all right, okay, next best player in the series, it's Naz Reid. And then it's Nikhil or Dante. And then you can go on. Minnesota has 7 of the 10 best players in the series. And I thought the depth is what won the game ultimately, the ability to get those guys in their spots. Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, the bench. I think the bench had 30 more points than the Lakers bench. So I thought Minnesota showed their strengths to their peak ability. They can shoot the ball, and they shot the living crap out of the ball today. And that bench showed up. And Anthony Edwards, the most dangerous Timberwolves, the most dangerous version of the Minnesota Timberwolves is with Anthony Edwards making those decisive reads, and he did that today. So I thought it was a very good representation of if Minnesota wins this series, this is what it'll look like for 4 games.
Now, KD, you came into the series, and you said that the Lakers would win pretty easily. You said they were winning 5 games. I don't know if you're still of that mindset, especially since they lost game 1. They definitely, well, in my opinion, they're not winning 4 in a row. So what's your takeaways from game 1? Are you still as confident as you were going in? Do you think they still winning 5 games? What did you see tonight?
Yeah. So when I said they win in 5, the one game I picked for the Wolves to win, I said they'd either win game 1 because historically LeBron teams game 1 is just a feel out game. I think we saw that tonight. Granted, I'm gonna give the Wolves credit. Like they shot the hell of the ball, they played good basketball tonight. So like that, the Lakers like LeBron feel out game doesn't have anything to do with the Wolves shooting the ball like that. That was all them. But that being said, I do still believe that the Lakers are the better team. I don't believe that the Wolves are going to continue to shoot 50% from 3, and I don't believe that they're going to make 23s a game. If they continue to make 23s a game throughout the series, then they're going to win the series. Like it really is that simple. But you go back last season with Cat, who's a better shooter than Randall. The Wolves in their 3 series shot 36% from 3 across the board through all 3 series. So it's just not, they had a hot night. Lakers, like their defense, I didn't think it was bad. I thought the process defensively against Anthony Edwards was good. They actually held Ant to pretty poor shooting. I think he shot like 47 true shooting on the night. He was making the requisite kick-out passes, which was good. But in general, in the playoffs against the top teams, basic corner kickouts and one-away passes usually isn't enough to win a series. You got to be able to make skip passes and things along those lines. So we'll see how things progress as the series goes on, but I'm not changing my pick. I'm still going to go Lakers in 5, at least until I see like a game that the Wolves win without shooting. With that, yeah, I mean they have
respectful, man. Oh my gosh, you just saw your team lose by over 20, bro.
Well, they're not my team, so
okay. All right, they're your team right now in this conversation.
I mean, yeah, I watched them get ran off the floor, but again, if you're gonna tell me that Jaden McDaniels is gonna shoot 96 true shooting, like I'm just not gonna believe it's gonna happen for a whole series. So I thought Randall especially wasn't good tonight. 7 turnovers. A lot of that was just LeBron anticipating what he was trying to do and his decision making. He hit a few nice shots, but I don't think that Randall's going to be a guy they can go to consistently in this series just based off tonight. And yeah, so.
Q, you also picked the Lakers in 5 or 6. You said a tough 5 or a cool 6. I quoted you exactly what you said.
Just making sure we understand that. Because you can have a 5-game series don't mean it was a beat down. It could have been hard fought, come down to the clutch, and then in the clutch, the better playoff performers usually perform and whatnot. Obviously, this game wasn't the time for that because it wasn't close at the end. So, LeBron and Luka couldn't do their thing. Jaden McDaniels, if we're gonna get 25 from him every night for this series, I got it. If you're telling me he gonna go 11 for 13 on the night every night they play, fine. Naz Reid, I'm not gonna say it's an outlier because he can shoot the pillow of the ball, like he can shoot generally in the way the defense.
I actually believe Naz Reid could do this every night.
Yeah. I'm fine. If you telling me he average 20 for the series, I'm not gonna scoff at that. He can light the ball up. He can do a lot of things, especially like against bench units. Like you said, like Katie said, game 1's usually a feel out game. Luka still had 37. Like there was nothing to stop him. Everybody else, like they just couldn't do nothing with it. Minnesota was very disciplined. They ain't like lead their man. Obviously, not Gabe Vincent and DFS and them. They're not throwing up a whole bunch of shots, of a hand in the face. They just stayed super disciplined. And that's it. You let Luka go 1-on-1. Ron go 1-on-1. They're gonna get theirs eventually. Reeves in the first half wasn't really doing much. That was kind of the X factor. You're gonna need him to show up, and just wasn't it early on. And they let go from 3. Nas went crazy. Hit like 4. You get Dante had momentum going into half, hitting that the buzzer beater and things like that. I don't think that's gonna happen every game in the series, but they started off nice. They needed to get this win, steal one on the road so that they could go back home split. I still believe they're going to probably win in 6. I don't know if they're going to go 4 straight. It's possible. It's Luka and LeBron first round series. I don't expect them to lose in the first round anyway, but I think they learned some things, and it's a little tougher than most people would have thought. I think the internet and the media are going to overreact, and probably everybody going to switch and have Minnesota probably in like 6 or something like that. I'm not doing that though.
Let me see. Jaden?
Oh yeah, my bad. Nah, I mean, I feel like there's not too much to say that everybody else didn't say. I think Anthony Edwards had a really good game. This is probably like some of the best passing that I've seen out of him as of late. But again, he didn't
That's
have
crazy.
too many complex reads. I thought the Lakers were gonna send more doubles because he literally like came out publicly and said he doesn't like that. He doesn't like being like out of the flow of the game. So you have Jaden McDaniels. I don't think he's gonna give you 25 a night. I thought they were gonna help off of him. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's not too much I can say that everybody else didn't say. It was a good game from Ant. It was a good game from McDaniels, but they just shot the piss out of the ball. So I don't think that they're gonna do that for the whole series. But if they do, it is what it is.
Well, I just want to say I don't think Minnesota needs to shoot the pill out the ball to win the series. I don't think they need to do that. I don't think Jamie Daniels need to go 9 for 13 for them to win the series. I don't think they need to do that. To Wilder's point, huh?
I do. I don't think they can win if they don't shoot super crazy from 3. It's just not going to happen.
I don't think
you guys forget they're a top 5 offense in the NBA this year. I think we're just forgetting that.
It like there's just caveats to playoff basketball. Like they're going to continue to like Ant did not have a good shooting game, and that is because of the scheme. The scheme was to load up the paint on Ant, force him to make the kick out passes. So that's what I'm saying. If they don't hit those kick out threes, that like they have to hit those at a high level to win the game. Because if they don't, then it's just going to be they're missing those. Ant isn't going to get it going because they're going to keep loading up on him in the paint. That isn't going to change. So it's like if they're not hitting those shots, how are they going to win? I don't understand.
You can't double him anymore though when they're doing that. That's the difference.
No, the Lakers they're not going to. They showed tonight like they're not going to change up the process. Like they're going to continue to double in the paint because it's like it's just.
Yeah,
you
the only way that's changing is if they're gonna go out there 2 times in a row, they're gonna see if they're gonna make those same shots again. Game 2, if they can continuously make those shots, then you switch something up. But we're not believing that Jaden McDaniels is gonna give you 25 a night.
Jaden McDaniels is such a convenient name to throw out because he played so good. It isn't the Jaden McDaniels thing that's important. The important part is Minnesota has one guy who can do that to you pretty much any given night. Minnesota, the reason why they win this game is because Anthony Edwards was able to make those quick reads. You're betting on Anthony Edwards that he's not going to consistently make those reads because he didn't consistently in the regular season. Last year, he did in the playoffs. I think the week off in between when the season ends, having a full week to prepare for a team makes a big difference for him. But he came in very determined. I'm just going to get off the ball early. I'm going to go and attack the rim. I'm not going to shoot a 3 till like the second half. I'm going to move the ball. And if he's consistently doing those reads, Minnesota is deep enough to punish you for that. And if they're punishing you for that, you can't double him to the extreme as they are, or they're going to keep losing by 20.
I don't. So to Wilder's point, I don't really think that they need to shoot the cover off the ball. I don't think they need 25 from Jamie Daniels every night because it showed tonight in the bench points that they have a much deeper team than the Lakers. They are a much deeper team than the Lakers. I do agree that they have more size than the Lakers. They are more athletic than the Lakers in that aspect. So those are things that are at their advantage. The reason I picked the Lakers in the series, and we talked about it in the playoff preview, is I think that they will be able to load up on Anthony Edwards and make him make plays like he did tonight. And it's going to be on the Timberwolves to hit shots. And down the stretch of games, I'm trusting Luka, LeBron, in clutch time more than I am with Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. I'm definitely not trusting Julius Randle to make a lot of decisions at all in this series. But I think the others are going to be very, very important in this series. You saw Austin Reeves had a really down night tonight, more than he usually ever does on a consistent basis. But obviously, Dante played well at times tonight. Nas Reed is going to be someone that's very important in this series, and I think he can have a good series. I don't think they really match up well with Nas Reed. They didn't when the Timberwolves went small and played that 5-out lineup. I don't believe they guard that well. And as far as this specific game, I think the Lakers, the scheme wasn't the issue. Their closing out was very, very lazy. Their effort was very, very lazy. JJ touched on that during the game. They just conceded a lot of open shots. Like, yes, Ant was able to,
feel out game. That's just the nature of it.
I think Ant made the quick reads, easy reads, like nothing really crazy at all. But they didn't close out really well at all. And someone posted a stat on Twitter like, Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle are great isolation players. So I get JJ. He wants to load up on Ant because they don't have a great point of attack defense or a great rim protector and make them beat him as a playmaker. But I don't really think that they have enough offense to where like if they change that coverage, stop doubling as much, is that is the others going to beat them enough? Is Anthony Edwards going to beat them enough? He definitely could, but I think they should change up. If it continues like this, where they hitting too many open shots, they got to change it up. I don't really think loading up on him.
It's not going to happen. Like no team has ever shot 50%, 23s a game.
You don't need to hit 50% of their threes. It's easy to go to, but they lost by a lot more than just 3-point margin.
If they shot 35% from three tonight, which was what their average was through the playoffs last season, they would have made 6 less.
It's a different team than last year. They were the 17th ranked offense last year. This year they were 8th, top 5 in January. They were a below average 3-point shooting team last year. And this year they were top 5.
Yeah, they're much better. They're much better.
How is it the same team?
No, they're a much
top 5 in threes this year, both made and attempts.
Specifically,
much better 3-point shooting team.
Specifically because
that's not true.
It's not like
that's not true.
It's not the others. That's part of that.
Yes, it is. Nas Reed, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, Mike Conley. They're all shooting around 40% from 3+. Anthony Edwards.
And you lost Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes, and Anthony Edwards is the one who matched Karl Anthony Towns shooting.
So
how do they jump the top 5 in 3-point? How do they do that? They did it because, one, they're better at getting to 3-point shots because, one, they have more rim attack pressure that you can push the ball out to the perimeter. Karl Anthony Towns, the one thing they lacked last year offensively was they didn't have enough ball handlers to go and get to the heart of the defense and then give it to shooters. And there weren't a lot of shooters. This year, you get Dante. Obviously, Nickeil, Nas, and Conley shoot threes. Julius Randle, we have to give him some credit because he does help the 3-point offense, not because he's a great 3-point shooter individually, but because Julius Randle is one of the best driving kick complementary stars in the league in terms of passing. So that is why Minnesota's making threes. They can get to more threes. Of course, Anthony Edwards able to just do it off the dribble makes a big difference. But then when you're able to have multiple ball handlers and to just kick it out, and you have 5 guys on your team who can hit 40% of your threes, that's how you go from league average from 3 to top 5. So they're a significantly better shooting team from 3 than last year.
That's what I'm saying. Basic corner kickouts is not enough to win playoff series against top teams. It's just not. It works in the regular season. It might work in the game. It might work in the game 1, but all it takes is instead of the man on the wing not rotating over the corner and leaving corner open, all it takes is the man on the wing rotating mid crash down from help and forcing the guy who's the decision maker to make a skip pass instead of a corner kick out. That's all the difference it takes. The Lakers just didn't do that tonight. I believe they're going to do it going forward because that's just basketball. Like it's just basic scheme. Again, I think tonight was a feel out night for the Lakers. I don't think they were really locked in on rotations. But once you start to rotate and you make Anthony Edwards, you make Julius Randle have to make skip passes, not just basic corner kickouts, that's where things are going to change. And that's where it's just going to become more difficult.
I understand what you're saying, and I love the point that the Lakers were slow on closeout to the corner. But where I would respectfully disagree is that I don't think it was just as simple as, okay, if you just start running to the corner, Minnesota's going to pee in between their legs, and then it's over. I think that's what we're differing because early in the second quarter, they were moving out a little bit when the game was closer, and Minnesota was swing, top to the right wing. Dante hit some threes from there. Nas hit some threes from there. Of course, Ant in the second half started nailing threes in that regard. But I think where I differ is Minnesota can get to threes in more ways than they get respect for because they can get to small ball lineups where they have 5 guys shooting 40% from 3, which I think we saw today. And we saw in moments when they went small, that momentum change really take over.
Yeah, no, I agree that they were getting some swing like shots towards the top of the key in the arcs, but those shots are much better for the defense than corner threes. Like it's just mathematically they're way better than giving up corner threes. I don't know the specific numbers, but I think the Wolves shot like 9 for 12 on corner threes or something like that tonight. Yeah. Like 75. Like it's just mathematically much better to be giving up threes at the top of the arc. Rather than in the corner. So that's what I would expect going forward. If I had to pick one adjustment I think the Lakers would make, is going to be that. It's going to be early rotations from the top, forcing skip passes, forcing swing passes, and just saying we're just going to deny corner threes. We're going to deny the paint. You can have everything else, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, they probably will give Ant the mid-range too. Other players the mid-range. I agree with that. But I just can't get on board. Like I just people saying it's a hot shooting night. That definitely does matter. The rest of these games in the series will not be blowouts, and I don't think it's gonna be much closer, especially in game 2. It's like game 2 is damn.
I think Lakers will get a blowout of their own.
Maybe. I mean, like every game is not gonna look like this. I think, especially next game, it's damn near must win for the Lakers. But I do think
that the Lakers probably get a blowout game 2.
Yeah.
So like at home, Dorian Finney-Smith might hit 3 threes, 4 threes. Gabe Vincent might hit 4 threes. Rui might actually hit his shots. Austin Reeves might not be as bad as he was tonight. Like that's the other side of it. Like they also didn't hit no shots. Like they didn't make no shots. So like we missed it out. Like they were hot.
The Lakers,
which was cold.
It was a lot of freelance offense. The organized offense was really bad. They didn't really like run any sets a lot tonight. It was a lot of Luka go get a bucket, which he was amazing tonight at going to get a bucket and stuff like that. They tried to attack Rudy Gobert. They found some success with it in the first half. I think in the second half he did a lot better job of deterring shots at the rim and guarding on perimeter. Luka was still having his way though. But I just think a lot of it definitely has to do with effort though. I think Minnesota had 25 points in transition tonight at one point.
I kid you not. There was a play, I think, in the first quarter where somebody, it was like Jackson Hayes tipped a ball out.
He topped that all the way out. That was a bucket.
I kid you not. LeBron stood under the rim. He did not move. He was not running back on D. This is the first quarter of a playoff.
Yeah, Minnesota
did not move.
Minnesota had 18 points off of turnovers. And they have 25 fast break points. So it was more than just them hitting threes tonight. It was definitely an effort thing. And that
I think they'll get those fast break points all series. The Lakers aren't a good fast break defense. They're not going to run back on defense. The Wolves are fast and athletic. I would anticipate they're getting that all series.
So the best lineup for Minnesota was that small ball lineup with Rudy Gobert off the floor. They had Jay McDaniels, Naz Reid, Mike Conley, Julius Randle, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They had a 137 net rating in 4 minutes. It was only 4 minutes, I guess. They have other lineups, I believe, with that small ball lineup that was just really well. So I think
that was the run early in the second because neither LeBron hadn't got going yet.
Yeah, it was a 17-6 run. 4 minutes and 43 seconds. They had a 137 net rating. And I think the lineup so I think outside of the threes, they can present a matchup problem for them with that 5-out offense. Because if the Lakers can't punish them, like in the paint or anything like that, if LeBron don't got to go in, then if they run Naz Reid at the 5 and they're fine with rebounding, it's gonna really be hard for them. If your defense is to load up on Ant, make them make hard passes. But if you have players that can shoot, move the ball quickly, that's the adjustment for Minnesota. So
it goes the other way though. If you're doing that and Gobert's not on the floor, their rim protection has been falling off a cliff. So it's about which offense do you trust more from there.
But I do think in totality though, the Lakers 2-point scoring tonight. The Lakers 2-point scoring wasn't great at all. But we've been on this for like 25 minutes almost. It's gonna be an interesting series. I came in saying this wasn't going to be an easy series. I don't think it was going to be an easy series. I mean, Minnesota is a formidable team. What are they? They were the 6th seed or whatever, but I believe they had one of the highest net ratings in the league. Top 10 defense, top 10 offense. They have athleticism. They have a great defense. They're a younger team, all that type of stuff. So I feel like
if I didn't watch that Bucks collapse, I might have said Lakers in 6 instead of 5. But that Bucks loss was so bad. Yeah.
Their offense can't get.
They started 8 and they were like 8-10, and they went on like a 40 and 30 run. Like they're a good team, and seeding in a Western Conference doesn't like
So tight.
Like we're talking about 2-game differences between the second seed and like the 8th seed. Like it's all the same level of teams. So like playing team ain't really playing teams to me. Like I don't really care about that because how many games the Timberwolves won? Like 48?
49, yeah.
See, look, also, Lakers won 50. It was a 1-game difference. It doesn't really.
I wouldn't expect Jamie Daniels to have 25 points every night, but I do think he can have a good series.
He's a playoff riser. I mean, he has been the last couple of years. Career 45% from 3. You see what he did against Denver last year. You see what he did against Phoenix. He closed games for Minnesota last year.
They were really hunting Austin Reeves too. Like they were hunting Austin Reeves a lot.
Some of the shots he was making, not even threes, like he was making like pull-up middies. Like I'm sorry,
he has that in his game though. Like Daniels is a legitimately talented offensive player. He's been an incredibly misused offensive player, but we see when he's able to play with the ball in his hands and get into that first level, that's where he's at his best. He's not this 3-and-D wing. He's very far from it. And when he's hitting his threes, that's when everything just avalanches for him because he wants to get inside of 18 feet. And all I'm going to say about this series is Lakers, fakers, clout chasers, ref handshakers, Wolves in 6.
Nuggets storm back to beat Clippers in overtime. This was the best game of the entire day. I picked the Nuggets, not the Nuggets. I picked the Clippers to win the series. Win the series in 6. I'm still pretty confident in that, to be honest. Ty Lue had a very, very awful coaching performance from, I think he was a big part of why they lost this game. But I'm gonna start with Q. What was your takeaways from this game tonight? Well, earlier today.
I kind of figured this was gonna be like a back and forth, nip and tuck kind of ball game. Between the Clippers being a very good team this year and with like a coaching edge, and then like obviously is Jokic best player in the world. Like I think that was enough to keep it close. Like obviously, like you take it like apart from Jokic, and I know like that's like silly to say, like aside from Jokic, these teams pretty much like they're the same. Like without Jokic is a bad team, but since they got Jokic, it puts them in a realm that they're able to keep up this type of fight, regardless of bad roster, bad defense, and clearly a coaching disadvantage due to him. This is the interim. The fact that they got at home, and also Russ, you've seen both sides of Russ, like literally play like possession after possession, like possession after possession. You've seen the Russell Westbrook experience. Great play, then dumb play. Great cut, then dumb turnover. It's like that's enough to keep you on your edge to make it just a great series in and of itself. Just watching him just do what he does on a basketball court. But it came down to like the very moments you've seen Jamal and Jokic go to work. Obviously, that still worked. That's still one of the better tandems in the league. James Harden had a game. Game 1, obviously, his first round was James Harden. I don't expect him to be playoff dropper James Harden in the first round. Doesn't really happen. There was a couple of lapses. Ty Lue made some mistakes, especially keeping Norman Powell out there. Somebody that's just going to try and get a bucket, doesn't pass, doesn't defend, doesn't rebound, doesn't play nothing. He doesn't provide nothing but scoring. Like, it's not really effective. I've been saying that all year. People hating. I ain't have him as my most improved player and whatnot. But yeah, this is a good series. I think it goes 7. I'm still confident it's Nuggets in 7, especially if Game 7 is at home in Denver. I think they're still going to come out with this win. But the Clippers have enough to make it hard. They're probably going to come and hit them hard next game.
For me, I'm still really, really confident in the Clippers winning this series. I think their pick and roll offense, especially attacking Nikola Jokic, was very, very successful in this game, and they just went away from it for some reason. Down the stretch, I think they played too much Kawhi hero ball. I think Kawhi, as a scorer in general, sometimes just takes too long to get into his offense, too much over dribbling at times, and he was very, very bad handling double teams in this game. Way too many turnovers. Probably one of his worst games in the playoffs in recent memory. But yeah, they just double him, and he took too long to get into his offense. Too much late in the shot clock stuff. I don't know why Ty Lue went away from their pick and roll offense with James Harden because how well he's playing. He played Norman Powell over Nicholas Batum, and Nicholas Batum was hitting big shot after big shot. Obviously, Nicholas Batum is a good defender as well. Could provide help on the boards as well. But for me, I think Denver just played much better defensively in the second half. They got out in transition a lot in the second half, which is really part of why they came back. They out-rebounded the Clippers on the offensive glass. That's what really was the big difference in this game. I think they had 9 offensive rebounds in the last 9 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Those get multiple second chances.
Yeah, they had a 121 offensive rating in the second half as well. And the Jokic, Gordon, Braun, Westbrook, and Murray lineup was plus 25.9 in 20 minutes. I think his name was Outerman. He made the right decision to bench MPJ because he wasn't playing well. And he stuck with Russ, even though Russ had some boneheaded mistakes. He made some big plays. I think for me, what I want the Clippers to do, stop trapping Jokic so much. He is the best passer damn near in the league, basically. So he's one of the best passers ever. If you trap, they have the cutters. They have Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook to make them pay and get easy looks. Aaron Gordon was also really great tonight. Stop trapping so much. Zubac is one of the best Jokic defenders in the league. It was times tonight where he made him work offensively. Just let Jokic, if he's going to go in the post, let him go in the post. He's always going to do his dribble handoff stuff, but just stop trapping Jokic. You don't really need to do that. I think they can do a really good job of taking away the others if they let Jokic, score. He's going to score. Let him, go one-on-one with Zubac. You got one of the best defenders for Jokic in the league. I think if you focus on making Jamal Murray struggle, which I think Chris Dunn can do, which I think Derrick Jones Jr. can do, you can win a series. Stop giving up so much mismatches to Aaron Gordon and dunker spot looks to Aaron Gordon, all that type of stuff. So that's my adjustment for the Clippers. Stop trapping so much. Like trapping Nikola Jokic, it's not that great if you're not fronting him like the Lakers do, or like the Timberwolves did last year as well. Like if you don't have, like the Timberwolves had really good in the paint. Then they had Jamie Downs on the perimeter, Nikhil Alexander Walker on the perimeter. Like the Clippers just don't have that.
Cat was very important to that too because he also big enough to body up.
They had 3 bigs to stop Jokic, and obviously Jokic had a relatively good series, but it's just Zubac for
Jokic stopped himself. To be honest,
yeah, and he wasn't hitting
his
threes.
His 3-point shot, his 3-point shooting was terrible in that series.
Yeah. So I just think they should stop trapping as much. It's not working. And their offense got much better when they did that. It was Jokic he kills traps. He's able to find easy looks out of it. So they just need to stop. Ty Lue, terrible game. Bogey was unplayable. Norman Powell was unplayable. Chris Dunn, he had a good game, but sometimes I'd rather just see Derrick Jones Jr. in there because he actually provides vertical spacing. They had too many moments where it was too many non-shooters on the floor. Like they was playing Ben Simmons and Chris Dunn together. I don't know what that was about. So I think this game was primarily on Ty Lue. Then secondly, Kawhi Leonard, he wasn't aggressive enough after that second quarter, and then he just couldn't handle a double team. So that was my takeaway. What did you see, Water?
I think you made a lot of good points. And the first thing I want to capitalize and piggyback of what you said is Nikola Jokic is just so damn good at basketball. And he's so good that if you think you're going to take him out of the game, you're an idiot. He's never going to be taken out of the game. At a certain point, it's better for Nikola Jokic to just score 40 and have 3 assists. Just let him get his 40, all right? Let him get his 40. He's going to cook you regardless instead of letting him get his triple-double, 12-plus assists, which he had tonight, because Nikola Jokic doesn't want to score. He wants to get the offense flowing. He wants to get everything going. So when you're trapping Nikola Jokic consistently, you're playing to his favor because he's going to score regardless. So you could quadruple guard the guy, and he's still going to get 30. So just give up on that. And I think that's where Ty Lue made a big mistake. And obviously Aaron Gordon played well. Jamal Murray played pretty well. Westbrook, had a Westbrook game where it's like you love the effort, you love the energy plays, and holy crap, he was inefficient, and holy crap, questionable decisions. But late in the game, his effort really showcased at the end, of course. So I do think that's a big mistake that the Clippers had, especially because they started so well. And they played to Nikola Jokic's strengths. And then, as you mentioned, the offense for the Clippers became a little more stagnant after that amazing James Harden first quarter. So the Clippers got to get their offense going again. Just simplify it. Don't rely on hero ball too much. Don't make Kawhi Leonard just try to save the game. And obviously he needs to be more aggressive late. So I don't know. I just thought it was bad execution by the Clippers and on both ends of the floor, truly. And I agree. I had the Clippers winning the series, and I still stand by that. Not because, they didn't lose by 20 today, so I'm sticking with my pick. But, yeah, so I think those are my thoughts in the series.
Katie, why did the Clippers come back in this game? I mean, why did the Nuggets come back in this game?
It was mainly the offensive glass. It was a number of things, but the offensive glass was the biggest problem down the stretch for the Clippers. And I believe that's that. So as good as some coaches can be, a lot of times their attachments to certain players can just like severely hinder their decision making and cause them to just lose games. Like, it happens all the time. You have brilliant coaches and they'll just be too attached to a guy. They'll play a guy more than they should, and it will cost them the game. That is Ty Lue with Norman Powell. It's not just this game. The Warriors game, I think Norman Powell played like 45 minutes in, and he was horrible for all 45 minutes. He just has not been good these last few games. Tonight, it was very, very clear that Nicholas Batum had it going, both hitting threes. He hits one like fake as crap three with no time on the clock and super contested, just chucking it up. And then a few possessions later, gets subbed out. While he's playing great defense, he's giving you connective playmaking, and he can help on the glass. He's a big body. He can help you grab boards. So to sub him out for Norman Powell, who's like 6'4", maybe 6'5"-ish, and doesn't help you on the glass at all, isn't hitting his shots, isn't a good defender, is just it's asinine, to be honest. And so I feel like a lot of the blame has to go on Ty Lue, just by nature of that. I think you also have to throw a lot of blame on Kawhi. 7 turnovers is just not acceptable. And this is something that I think the Nuggets watched film from that Warriors game. Even though Kawhi was really good in that game, there was some points at certain points in the game where the Warriors would send doubles at him, send traps in certain spots, and Kawhi struggled. He threw the ball away a few times, struggled to get anything going in possessions. And I think that also reared its head tonight. And it's something that Clippers they're going to have to figure out, because the more they go throughout the playoffs, as you see OKC next round, they're sending doubles like instantly. And it's going to be, you're going to have to figure it out before then, if you even make it there. So I think they're going to have guys are going to have to really focus on flashing to the ball when those doubles come, make it easier for Kawhi to make the swing pass. You can't just stand around watching, which they did tonight. And again, you look at the minutes distribution for this game. Kawhi played 41 minutes or something like that, and Jamal Murray played 48. That type of difference in minutes between stars just can't be a thing. I get there's the whole altitude aspect, and you're trying to maybe preserve Kawhi, but you can't just not play your stars in the playoffs. It just can't be a thing. If Jamal Murray is playing 48 minutes, Kawhi should be playing 50, right? Because it went to overtime. It's just the nature of the beast. He should not be playing 41 or whatever he played. If he played as many as Jamal, they might have won this game. So, yeah.
I don't know, man. Just the thing about that OKC series, bro. They're gonna watch the Clippers. They're gonna watch them. It's gonna be crazy. But anyways,
you just love to talk about Clippers. OKC gonna watch this. They gotta worry about a demon number 12 tomorrow. Yeah, get ready. You think check and hold Edie?
Snoozing.
Serious question.
Yeah, yes. I think if they go with Chet at the 5, he would play. He would make him out the game. Come on, get him out the game. I don't know. Anyways,
Edie is frying him on the boards, but Edie can't score, so it don't matter. But he's frying him on the boards.
Knicks used a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter, I believe.
It was 21-0.
Yeah, it was 21-0. I think it ended at 24-5 run to beat the Pistons in game 1. What led to that 21-0 run in this game?
It was a mixed bag of Carl Towns campaign having a quarter of their life. Pistons offense stalling out, which is easy to do. You got one real creator on the team. You're trapping them at the top. Obviously, they're gonna run pick and roll. As long as you blitz them off that initial action, a lot of things gonna happen. The same things happened before. In the first half, obviously it was different. You had Tobias Harris, who was playing great. It was matching buckets. It was Tobias was OG. You want to go like that. Jalen Brunson, I know he had 30 something, but like first half wasn't really like a Jalen Brunson game, but they put that lineup out there and they just went on a run. And it was, pretty like fourth quarter, you didn't expect it to happen, but things just got stale and it was just an onslaught. It was just point after point, bucket after bucket. You get a putback dunk, you get threes flying. It's a whole conundrum of things. They're at home, MSG going crazy. You chalk that up to game one, whatever. It's the Garden. Then Jalen Brunson come in, just close out the game. Kind of look like a little bit shaky for them, like in the last minute and a half. But damage was already done when you had to claw back that far, especially when you was up. But when they decided to go on, they run.
KD,
I mean,
oh my bad. I thought you was done. My bad.
when I was this Pistons first time in the playoffs, young, like the experience. So like they just couldn't handle that at that moment yet. They're probably not going to be able to handle that moment. That's probably how the series is going to go. Like they're just not ready for that type of moment. You got some vets, but they're not like Tobias Harris. Like that's your most experienced player in these moments. That's not enough to really, help you get through this type of mode. And it's a talented team. You got Cat pretty much the best player. Like is the second best player in the series. Like not comfortably, but like it's Cat out there. You get Cat and whoever they can run whoever on like the Pistons off the floor at any moment.
I think the point about the experience was a good point. KD, you watched the Pistons probably every game this season. Coming into the series, you didn't give the Pistons a chance at all. They were battling. They had a lead. I think a 7-point lead in this game. Did you think at any point of this game they could win it? And what does this game do for you as far as their outlook on the whole entire series?
I mean, it just honestly confirms my outlook. I actually thought there was a chance they might steal the game early. I think in the fourth, when they had I think it was a 10-point lead.
It was 98-90.
Yeah. And I thought like the shots were falling for them. I thought Brunson just didn't look that great and was struggling to get it going. And like I think it was after that Dennis Schroeder block on him where it was like the energy was really just high for the Pistons. I thought they might be able to steal it. But then they proved that they are not an actual good playoff team. You just look at the Pistons record against it. That's my go-to because people really don't know how bad it was. But the Pistons record against 500 teams was abysmal. Like it was like 12-26. I think they finished on the season. It was just so bad that you can't take them serious. Cade is my guy. I have my Cade jersey on this morning, like in support, ride with my guy. But I picked the Knicks to win this series in 4. I'm sticking by that. I just don't think that the Pistons have the requisite offensive talent to keep up. The fourth best offensive player for the Knicks would be the second best offensive player on the Pistons, and that's really just the nature of it. Like I would take OG over Tobias or whoever you think the second best offensive player is for the Pistons. So. And Cade did not have a good game. OG is just not a good matchup for him. Cade isn't – while he's athletic, he doesn't have, like, quick bursts. So he really struggles with bigger, stronger defenders that he can't muscle through, and that's literally OG Anunoby. It's just a terrible matchup for him. The times he had Mikal Bridges on him, he was able to go through him and score, which he always has. That's been the case for years. Mm-hmm. But – OG is just a real bad matchup for him. I don't think I would like to see them bringing Cat into ball screen actions a lot more. Bring Brunson into like inverted pick and roll actions more with like whoever Brunson's guarding, if it's Beasley or whoever. Get Cade opportunities to get downhill because there was one play he had going downhill on Cat, just completely fried him and got to the rim easily. There needs to be more of that. But even if there is, I don't think Pistons stand a chance regardless. I still have Knicks in 4.
I think this loss against the Knicks, I don't want to be like too animated or over exaggerate or You know what I mean? But like, it was kind of catastrophic because this is probably one of their only chances to win a game in the series, in my opinion.
If they were going to win a game, it was going to be this one. But you're
Like,
up
you had a
almost double
chance to
digits
go.
in the fourth.
You had a chance to go into Madison Square Garden game 1 and still a game on the road, still home court advantage away from the Knicks, and you were up by like 8 or so with like 7 minutes to play or something like that, and you gave it away. I do think the Pistons will win one game in the series. I think they'll win game 3. First playoff game in forever back in Detroit. The energy should be really high. I think they'll be able to ride off that and win one game in game 3. But they're not going to win
it. Didn't work in their last game in Detroit. It didn't win either of them. So I don't know.
Playoffs is just different feeling. But I feel like they just let this game. This is going to be, when you look back at this series, it's like, damn. Especially if they win game 3. It's going to be like, damn, we let this one go. Again, yeah, I agree with what you said, KD and Q. They don't have enough offense creation outside of Cade, and that's going to be very apparent in this playoff series. We're going to go through this series, and we're going to see that Cade does not have enough help at all against like serious defenses, serious teams. Hopefully, because and I hope Jaden Ivey can develop into that. I don't think he will at this moment. But they definitely need someone to take the pressure off of him because teams are going to just trap him and double him. He's not really great at handling traps or double teams. He's not great at handling pressure in the fourth quarter. The team isn't great at handling pressure in the fourth quarter. That's why they turned the ball over so much in this game. But this series is going to be a wake-up call to the front office in Detroit that you had to surround Cade Cunningham with another ball handler at least, another scorer at least. It's just they need to improve on the team, but they've taken a massive step in the rebuild this year. So them losing this series, which they will, is not going to be like anything negative at all. Like they overachieve a lot this year, but they have to lose it. They're going to lose a series, and they need to make the requisite additions, and they need to go to the drawing board and see what they need to do to improve the team. They cannot stay stagnant with what they have on this roster. And unfortunately, they don't have like plus assets. Like they just have their picks. They don't have anyone else's picks. They don't have none of that really. So it's gonna be a little bit harder to like improve the team. But I guess I'm confident in I'm confident in Trajan. I'm not gonna lie. Water, what did you see from this game?
I think you guys all tapped into it really strongly. It's just that last part of the game just gave an exact representation of where the team is, right? Because the first 3 quarters, they're kind of in it. And in the fourth quarter, they start to have a little bit of a command of the game. They play incredibly hard. And when you add to that effort and you're nailing threes that Tim Hardaway and Malik Beasley and Tobias Harris is doing his thing around Cade so he can get his double-digit assists, that's where the Pistons can be competitive, right? They're not a talented basketball team, so they're really focused on, okay, can we play top 10 caliber defense? We have length, we have athletes, and we saw a lot of that in the first part of the game. And then in the fourth quarter, we see the inexperience really shine, right? Because you guys mentioned it, your star's first playoff game, and he didn't shoot particularly well. But more importantly, because it's his first playoff game and he has to save the day, but you're reliant on other young kids who don't have a lot of experience, or your best options, Tobias Harris, known playoff riser, just kidding. Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., if those are your best offensive options and you're playing a team like the Knicks, right? Katie, you mentioned if OG Anunoby was the second best player on this team, or if he was on the Pistons, he'd be their second best player offensively by a pretty wide margin, frankly. This Pistons team, it's been a great story this year. They have a lot of talent. I actually think they're going to make this a little more of a series than people think because the Knicks have this weird thing in their DNA where they let off the gas at times. They either play a great team or they get smacked, or there's weird, right, ebbs and flows to the season for the Knicks. They have that in their DNA, kind of the nice guy DNA in them. So when there's the opportunity to squish the Pistons like a bug, I don't think that the Knicks are going to do that. And the Pistons play really hard. So I still think this is going 6 games. I think the Pistons are going to surprise them a couple of times because the Knicks will have a couple weird offensive games and they're just going to squeak out a game or two. And it's going to be competitive like that, but not in the fashion in which anybody actually believes the Pistons have a chance. They just don't have enough talent. And I think the Knicks are going to eventually close this, but that last part of the game just showed exactly where this Pistons team is right now.
All right, Pacers dominated Bucks without Dame. This game was really like never close. Well, it was in the beginning. Giannis was leaving his imprint on the game, getting to the rim whenever he wanted to.
Leaving his imprint with them bricks at the free throw lines. Yeah.
Just Giannis free throws all day. They'll live with that. Yeah.
My question to the panel, to all you guys, is how much will Dame returning actually affect the series?
Ryan Rollins is their starting point guard, so he better change something. I mean, their backcourt is Rollins and Taurean Prince, and their bench is fine, but that backcourt is unacceptable. Damian Lillard needs to come and save the day. I think it's a lot to ask for somebody who had the condition that he had to just come back, just come back and be fully at ease right away. So there's that weird balance of, can Damian Lillard be ready quick enough? But they need him to, because the Pacers are one of the deepest offensive teams in the NBA. They move the basketball. As great as Giannis is, as mediocre the Pacers defense is, he can't carry you every single game. And the way this Bucks team is wired, it was designed to have 2 max contracts and a lot of guys. That's the entire team. So if you're missing a guy, it's like being missing a lung. So that's where the series is right now. I thought the Pacers game, this first one, was a testament. You can't have Rollins be your starting point guard. No disrespect to the kid. It's great he's starting at this point of his career, but nobody on God's green earth wants that if they want a realistic chance to win the series. So, yeah, Damian Lillard, the need for him is like 11 quadrillion billion gazillion out of 10.
But do you think he changes the series? Like, do you think when Dame comes back, he can help them win a series?
Yeah, sure. If he plays great, yeah. I mean, at a certain point, the Pacers, as great as they are offensively, if it comes down to late in games and it's like, okay, you got Giannis and Dame and it's Halliburton, Siakam, I think the Bucks with those guys, because when you don't have to have a backup point guard starting, the roster makes a little more sense with the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Because, when you look at their bench right now, it's not the deepest team, but you have 3 guys who can play, right? Green can shoot. Gary Trent, who should never be in clutch time, by the way, he can play, I guess. But Portis and when Kevin Porter Jr. is in the right mood, those guys can play. But when you don't have a second star on that team and you're just like, all right, these are the guys who have to do something outside of Giannis, that's when it gets scary. So, yeah, I think Damian Lillard, if he's playing at his best, because not a lot of teams can match that firepower, they can win that way, but they need him to transition incredibly quick, because without that, there's a 0 chance they win the series.
Katie?
Yeah, I guess my default answer for this question has to be no, because I picked the Pacers in 7 before finding out Dame was coming back, and I kept my pick the exact same after finding out he was coming back. So I guess for me, I have to say no to this question just by nature of that. But I think it's more so I just don't really trust the Bucks enough as a team. They haven't shown me anything during the regular season for me to be able to trust them. Funny enough, I think I agree with what Wilder said. Ryan Rollins cannot be your starting point guard. But funny enough, I actually think that he should probably still start alongside Dame and Taurean Prince. I think you need to move Kuz to the bench. Kuz was atrocious tonight.
Tony Snell game.
Yeah,
Tony Snell game.
Tony Snell is freed. He's literally freed. Because this was in the playoffs too, and and it doesn't shock me. Kuz is terrible. I believe he's been terrible since he was on the Lakers. He can put up pretty stats for a bad team. It's a lot. I liken it to Terry Rozier. The Heat made the mistake of trading for Terry Rozier last year, and they saw how that went. You can't trade for guys putting up numbers on bad teams. It just, especially when they're low IQ, it doesn't end well. I think you move Kuz to the bench, because I think Ryan Rollins did play some really good defense on Tyrese Halliburton. He's probably their best POA defender. So your starting 5 with Dame back should be Dame, Rollins, Taurean, and Torian's really a 3. He's 6'7", so size-wise it makes sense. But I will say for the Bucks, they'll see better days. Where we were talking about Wolves earlier, couldn't miss. It was the opposite for the Bucks. They couldn't make anything. I think at halftime they were 2 for 16 from 3, and you got guys who hit threes. Brooke Lopez is a good shooter. Bobby Portis is a good shooter. KPJ's a decent shooter. Like none of them had made a three yet. So, Dame coming back will help that. Taurean Prince is he's one of the best shooters in the league. So they'll have a better shooting nights than they did tonight. They just couldn't make anything. But I still, overall, my pick hasn't changed. Like I got the Pacers in 7. I think, especially like when Halliburton just has a mid game and you still win in a blowout fashion, like that just says a lot. Halliburton was 0 for 7 from 3. He didn't find a shot. He couldn't really get anything, and they won by damn near 20. Like that's Nembhard. I thought had a great first half. Second half didn't do as much, but they didn't really need it. Siakam stepped up big in the second half. Miles Turner hit some big shots, and this Pacers team is just so like well oiled offensively that I just don't think the Bucks are in a game 7, like in Indiana. That Indiana crowd, of all the 4 crowds today, that Indiana crowd was the loudest. Like they were the loudest. They were the most like into the game. And which says that like MSG, as big as it is, as many people as like go to MSG games, they're never actually that loud as you'd expect them to. But that Indiana crowd was booming. In a game 7, I don't think the Bucks are going to be able to, like, they have the best player in the series. I just don't think that they have the good enough team to win it. So.
We just conversated in a group chat earlier.
Excuse my French, but the Bucks just can't fuck with the Pacers. Like for the past 2 years, they just haven't. And like
since the in-season tournament, like last season, but yeah.
Wait, Giannis has his way. He has his way as Giannis. He has his way. Everybody else don't be having nothing. And like with the Pacers free flowing offense, like the way how the system set up, they're always going to generate open shots. And they don't need to have a great defense. They just capitalize on trying to get stops at key moments, help them get out of transition. You know what I'm saying? Do certain things, and then they just get out and they start putting things up. Dame, in theory, should change the series slightly, but clearly we don't think that. I don't think that. Vegas doesn't think that. He provides offense. That's it. And maybe that they need a little bit of offense just to like take some pressure from Giannis. But I still don't like. You still got to defend, and that's a lot to ask for somebody that's coming off of blood thinners, and like that'd be putting a lot of pressure on Dame. And by the transfer property, you're putting a lot of pressure on Giannis just to try to prolong Dame on the sideline, let him ramp back up. Like so, you're asking Giannis win a game or two. Just get a game or two and let Dame, the later Dame come back, the better in theory he should be. So, actually play basketball. But I don't think you could they don't have enough pieces to take that chance. And what you were saying about Terry Rozier, I had just seen a tweet. It said, "Don't trade for a Wizard or a Hornet, or a Hornet player," which is like that's crazy. Like it sums up. Like they traded for the wrong Wizards player, and they traded for him like a year too late. Like if they would have did that probably and got Denny, I feel a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Denny was he was the best Wizard, but obviously can't change the timeline, things like that. They just don't have the roster. They don't have the front office to actually put the pieces around Giannis to actually make any type of changes. You got Brook Lopez out there who shouldn't play another game in this series, to be honest.
It was bad.
It's hit or miss. He's 6'7", but can't rebound. He ain't got no bricks in his back pocket. He can't really help out there. In theory, you thought Kuzma, younger, a little bit athletic, can help you rebound, help with size. He's not playable. Like he shouldn't see more than 15 minutes a night. Like the roster's just not good enough. And as good as Giannis is, the gap between his second best player right now and then the players on the Pacers, like the Pacers probably have 7, like from 3 to 10, probably go all Pacers till you get to the next buck, if you ask me personally. So it's like the gaps are just not there. Like even with Dame, the most I see this series going is 6, no matter what.
What you just said, first of all, just a side note, I'm very curious to see who trades for Miles Bridges this offseason now, because that is an automatic death penalty based on what we're seeing from Terry Rozier and Kyle Kuzma. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Just wanted to say that.
I think having the best player in a series nowadays is just overrated, to be honest. We talked about this in the group chat, but I think in today's NBA, one person's impact on a series is overrated. It matters much more about the depth of the team. It matters much more about the coaching, which the Pacers have a severe coaching advantage as well. It matters about
it depends how good the player is. Like,
yeah, I mean,
the thing is,
there's a caveat
or just better. Like the talent and coaching is just better now. So like the gap between like 10 years ago, and I said it before, like LeBron went to 8 straight finals. You know what I'm saying? Like he was backpacking, not really
I
backpacking.
don't know. Even a few years ago, the Warriors Kings first round, that was all Steph. Like you're not nobody. There's nobody else in the Warriors that actually did anything that serious.
The average role player is just like the average role player is just better now.
How much better was the Kings though than the Warriors? Seriously though,
how much better?
I mean, probably the same distance between the Bucks and the Pacers.
I don't know about that.
The Kings had a much better regular season than that year than the Pacers.
Yeah, I'm talking about like
that game came down to that just came down to a Steph masterclass in Game 7. Yeah. Draymond playing WWE and De'Aaron Fox messing up his hand.
Yeah, the Fox messing up his finger thing definitely played a fact. But I mean, the Kings won 2 games. Like they went up 2-0 to start, like, and could have went up 3-0 dang near. But that's what I'm saying. Like Steph put the team on his back, carried his team to. He had 50 in Game 7. Like that. That's the type of stuff where having the best player in the series can still matter. Like if you're telling me that Giannis goes out in Game 7 and drops 50 on great efficiency, he's hitting his free throws, I would tell you that the Bucks are going to win that. So
I think Giannis can drop 50 points in the game and they still lose.
I don't think that. I think that it caps off at round 1. Like I think
that I agree.
You have the best player by a margin in the series. At most, you could get out of is round 1. I'm not saying it's like if would you be surprised if Giannis beats the Pacers? I don't think nobody would be overly surprised that he.
I'd be surprised.
It depends on Dame, but listen, it depends on Dame.
It's clips. Like he's not like after that. You need more to get to past round 2 and 3. But round 1, it's a 50-50 total. Like if he win, he win. If he don't, it's like all right, whatever the team at.
If they're not winning this series without Dame, like this current roster is no way. Like people were talking about, like Giannis going to go in his 2018 LeBron. No, he's not. No,
he's not LeBron. That was just crazy.
And this team is not as good as the Cavs team that year, even either. So, the Cavs this is even worse than that Cavs team with 2018 LeBron too. So just all spectrums, it's off.
Yeah, and the Pacers this Pacers team is just much more talented than that 2018 Pacers team. So I just
I don't even know if I agree with that. More
they still have it was
better. I don't even know if they're better.
No, they're definitely better.
I don't know.
Is Sabonis still there?
Yeah. Sabonis was there.
Miles Turner.
Sabonis wasn't as good then though. So
CJ Miles playing heavy.
And they had Lance Stevenson. Like that team was good. Like
I don't know, man.
I'm not just gonna write them off and say that this team is better. Like just off. Like I would have to actually
that year on the Pacers.
It was Malcolm and Oladipo.
Malcolm Brogdon, that's right. Yeah. Gosh, I can't believe that was 7 years ago now.
I don't know how much Dame actually changed this series. I think he'll definitely help the Bucks offense a lot, and that'll help their defense, I think, because they were allowing the Pacers to get out in transition a lot. And obviously you're making more shots. The team is getting out in transition less. So I think Dame will definitely help their offense, but he is not going to stop the Pacers from scoring at will whenever they want to. That's
the Pacers. If the Pacers want to, they can legit throw out a lineup that you just have to throw Mathurin out there instead of Nesmith, and Dame can't guard anybody on the floor. You have Halliburton, Nembhard, Mathurin, Siakam, Turner. Dame can't guard any of them. All five of them could just attack him. So and they could easily do that. That's a simple adjustment. I think Rick Carlisle is getting deep in his bag. That's another thing we haven't spoken to. They have a much better coach. Doctor is
the coach is wide.
Yeah, Rick Carlisle. There was one play that they did early, like this was like early in the not even first, it was like early second quarter. They ran a Spain pick and roll for Nemhard, and Halliburton was the screener man. Like that type of stuff is just deep offensive bag. Doc is never doing anything like even close to that. So it's just there's just so many like different tiers.
Ali was like a plus 27, and he was poop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was like 3 for like 15, and he was a plus 27. Like the offense is just like pencil it in for 115, and then we figure it out from there.
I think Dame kind of makes this series like a shootout series, and whoever's offense is able to execute more will win. But I think that's probably Indiana, to be honest.
Yeah, Indiana would be fine with a shootout. They'd feel comfortable going into a shootout with the Bucks.
That's what's scary though, is also because you're asking Damian Lillard to come right back and play against one of the fastest paced teams in the NBA. Like, how is his conditioning? That's, I think, probably the biggest concern about how Damian Lillard eases into the game, because he needs to come in and kind of save the day, and also he has to play at the pace to catch up with the Halliburtons, the Siakams, the Nesmiths, and the TJ McConnells, etc. So that's my biggest question about how quickly Dame's going to just adjust to the game.
That would be kind of legendary, though. I think that would
be variable.
If he did that,
certain bumps. Like, he can't take certain bumps right now. Like a hard screen might make you tense up just because of what Dame is going through. Like, there's too many things going on that, like I said, it's just too much pressure on Damian Lillard. Like, there's just too much pressure on him. And I don't think like he can live up to this right here, right now, coming off of what he's coming off of. And like that just makes it even harder, for you honest.
That would be legendary though. Like, he was talking shit to Tyrese Halliburton on the bench. Like, if he actually comes back and like they beat them, that shit would be legendary. I ain't like, my respect for wrestling. He would have my respect at that. Like, yeah, like damn.
Oh, he'd have my respect big time. Coming back, yeah.
Latif called Dame like not a good playoff performer like 2 days ago. So I'm not even.
He's overrated. It was more like
career 42% from the field.
They tried to make it seem like he was like this playoff riser, and like you know how I get down. Like, I don't believe Dame is a playoff riser. I just think like he's himself going into the playoffs. And yes, that's a great player. Like, Dame is a great player. Right? Like, he's just the same. Like, he's consistent. Like, the whole like clutch thing. Me personally, I think he's just living off like
that's overblown for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And their playoff buzzer beaters this first round. After round one, he's not. And obviously, it gets harder. And you see different teams. Like, he's just not the same guy. Like, I've seen him melt down in Game 7, and CJ McCollum had to save his life. Like, I've seen that. I seen him in the Western Conference Finals be up at half, damn near double his 4 straight games and lose every game. Like, I've seen this happen.
I've also seen him
in the playoffs
against Denver, against MVP Jokic, and he was damn near the best player on the floor in the series too. So I think he averaged like 35 and 10 in that. It was a 2021. I think 2021. Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for the day one of the NBA playoffs. This will be posted in the morning, and then we'll do another video after
day 2.
So yeah, I don't know how else the schedule is going to be, but stay tuned for that. I appreciate all the support recently. Subscribe to Wilder's and Riv's and John's podcast, Objectively Biased. It'll be in the description. And then follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen. And that's going to do it, man. Thank you, KD, for joining, as always. Wilder, thank you for joining, too, on late notice. Q, thank you for being consistent, as always. And we're out.